Right now at noon on WHAS News at noon, heat concerns continue to impact millions of Americans, including many of us right here in Kentuckiana. We're breaking down how hot it will get here, plus how other cities are battling the sun and persisting wildfires. The JCPS superintendent is set to face the board for his annual evaluation. We're looking ahead at what he's likely to hear ahead of today's meeting. And the untold history of Louisville policing. The new report bringing to light centuries of racial discrimination, institutional harm, and the call for real change. WHAS 11 News at noon starts right now. Good afternoon, everyone. You're taking a look out over the Ohio River, looking over into southern Indiana. A hot day outside, and not just hot, it is humid as well. Thanks for joining us here on WHAS 11 News at noon. I'm Jim Stratman, joined in studio by Sam Gabrielli. And Sam, I am so happy we are inside today, both of us, because it is almost dangerously hot outside.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to advisory level. Now, the thing is, Jim, it feels like temperatures throughout the course of much of this week will not be at dangerous levels, but it's definitely going to be at heat that you just don't want to be outside for too long of an amount of time in. Now, so far, actually, we're sitting below 90 degrees currently at Ali International Airport, 87. We have a fair amount of humidity underway, and we also do have quite a bit of clouds that have been trying to inch in from our south and from our west. That's been kind of blanketing us and keeping us from being extremely hot. In fact, our friends towards Danville hitting 90 right now, Lexington at 88. Most of the sunshine so far across Kentucky has been off to the eastern part of the state. Notice in southern Indiana from Bloomington towards Du Bois and even Madison, they are trapped in the upper 70s. In fact, we're actually sitting at 86 in Madison. Quick correction there, but most of Indiana in the upper 70s and lower 80s. Today, though, in Louisville, there will be some clouds mixed in with some fair amount of sunshine. We're going to be looking to be striking 92 this afternoon, 90 in Salem, and again today we're going to be cranking up the heat day by day, looking to be hitting the upper 80s by Friday and Saturday. Now, going along with the clouds, I am also tracking a chance for a spotty shower later on this afternoon. I'll kind of guide you through futurecasts along with the extreme heat in a few more minutes.
Thank you very much, Sam. We'll check back in with you then. Today, JCPS Superintendent Marty Pollio will have his annual evaluation with the district's Board of Education. Now, this comes after both major controversies and applauded changes at JCPS. JCPS opened 2 new schools in West Louisville to begin the year, but it was plagued by transportation issues with students both arriving to school late and getting home hours after school let out. This year, the JCPS School Board also approved all new start times for more than 80 schools in the district, impacting thousands of students and parents. Tonight's evaluation will happen at 5 p.m. in a closed session, but we will work to get the results and bring you that information a little bit later tonight on WHAS 11 Night Team. Now, over the next 2 weeks, you can apply to be a part of a task force that will examine our county's massive school district. Specifically, it's expected to explore whether or not breaking JCPS up would improve student performance. Starting in mid-July, 2 Jefferson County parents, a JCPS teacher, and a principal chosen from a list made by Superintendent Dr. Marty Pollio will join lawmakers to analyze the way the district is managed. Lawmakers passed the resolution creating the task force in March. While it was a Republican-led effort, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle tell us they're hopeful that this group will lead to productive conversations. However, State Representative Tina Bojanowski of Louisville expressed some concerns.
Based upon the document, there's a focus on unacceptable test scores, research in splitting up school district, research in refiguring our school board. They definitely had some leading information in that document that is concerning.
Bojanowski says she appreciates an opportunity to hear the voices of those directly impacted. She also said she doesn't believe JCPS raw test scores tell the whole story of how kids are doing. Task Force co-chair Republican Senator Mike Nemus of Shepherdsville, though, said the point is to dig deeper into what can be improved.
So ultimately, is assessing the possibility of splitting the district, is that a goal of yours at all?
No, not at all. It is like anything else. It could be a suggestion, and with the data for that and reasons for that or not would probably be in the report on why we should or should not be done, but as a goal, absolutely not. We have no specific goal except to make the schools better.
You do have until June 30th to apply. You can find information to do that in this story on our website. The task force first meeting will be happening on July 15th. A new University of Louisville study reveals centuries of racial discrimination within the city's police department. Since the DOJ's critical report last March, LMPD policies have been under scrutiny. Now, this study traces its history dating back to 1778. WHAS11's Alex Dieter spoke with one of its authors and has more on the findings.
There have just been a lot of disappointments. There have been a lot of missed opportunities.
Retired University of Louisville professor Dr. Kate Fossel is one of 3 principal investigators that looked back through time to identify patterns of institutional harm in Louisville policing and how to make changes.
Well, I'm a historian of the Black Freedom Movement in Louisville and the South, and so I'm familiar with racial injustice. And I was still fairly shocked by some of our findings, just the scope of it.
The 64-page report called The History of Policing in Louisville was commissioned and paid for by the Louisville Metro Council in 2021 under then-Mayor Greg Fisher. Dr. Fossel says the report works as a counterpart to the 2023 Department of Justice report. Both reports coming to the same conclusions, repeated civil rights violations at the hands of Louisville officers.
The main difference is our report reaches further back to the origins of policing in Louisville.
At a time when the city is awaiting a consent decree and LMPD Chief Jackie Gwynn Villaroel placed on paid administrative leave less than a week ago.
We have had so many police chiefs recently, and there have been so many initiatives that haven't come to fruition.
Dr. Fossel says findings of racial discrimination within Louisville police have persisted for centuries. And while she has hope for the future of Louisville policing, Dr. Fossel says the change has to come from the top.
I have hope for reform if our leaders will embrace honest, substantive change. We need more than just Band-Aids.
In Louisville, Alex Dieter, WHAS11 on your side.
If you would like to read the full 64-page report, we do have a link to it in this story on WHAS11.com. 4 people linked to the case of a missing 8-month-old have pleaded not guilty to several charges in connection to her disappearance and suspected death. The suspects include the infant's mother and father, Cage Rudd and Tesla Tucker, her grandfather, Ricky Smith, and another man, Brody Payne. In court yesterday, investigators revealed drug residue was found in several rooms inside the Ohio County home that they all shared, including a room with a bassinet and a playpen. Last Friday, investigators say they found a baby's body inside of a duffel bag hidden in the home. The remains are suspected to be those of 8-month-old Maya Rudd, who was first reported missing on June 6th. All 4 suspects pleaded not guilty to abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and failure to report a death. They are each due back in court next Monday. The Bullitt County mother accused of killing her 2 sons will go to trial in December. Police say Tiffany Lucas shot 9-year-old Jaden and 6-year-old Maurice on November 8th inside their home. Detectives previously testified that Lucas called what she did, quote, a mistake, and claimed the internet had manipulated her. Lucas's trial is scheduled for December 17th. Well, big changes are coming to the heart of Nulu in the form of the East Market Streetscape project. The plan looks to redesign the sidewalks, control fast traffic, and change the way you park in the area, but it's not expected to be finished until October of 2025. WHAS11's Jose Alonso and photojournalist Emma Gefter visited the neighborhood to see how the start of the project will impact everyone.
Another day in Nulu.
I mean, this is a popular spot. There's a lot of things going on down here.
Construction for the East Market Streetscape is set to start on Monday. While a sign was visible, it wasn't in the area where crews are supposed to start.
There's been plenty of public meetings and such, but the iterations of the plans have changed so many times. Who knows what we're finally going to get.
This project has been a conversation for years and even faced some pushback in 2022 as the company LG&E determined that the construction would impact gas lines in the area. Muse Candies is a business that's been owned by one family for generations. We caught up with store manager Sarah Blazin.
In 1962, the state highway department came through and physically took our building from us, purchased it, and forced us to move.
The company was given a broad time on when to expect construction at their front door.
A few months from the end of the year through the beginning of next year, which unfortunately encompasses the holiday shopping season.
Holiday sales aren't the only concern. Parking is on the mind of Stuart Jordan, who works in Nulu.
We came down here last Saturday for a business meeting. We had a meeting at the office, then went out for dinner, then went to a bar afterwards. We had to park a couple blocks away because it was so packed down here.
The streetscape will replace angled parking spots so drivers aren't backing into a busy road. It will also expand sidewalks and make it more friendly to bikers.
You can't always see as you're backing up your backup cam, especially if you have a backup cam, that's helpful. But yeah, you have to be careful backing out into the street, especially around 4 or 5 o'clock.
With changes coming to the neighborhood, everyone is getting ready to adapt.
As they start construction down here, where are we going to end up parking? How far are we going to have to end up walking? And am I going to have to find somewhere else new to go?
And push through any obstacles to make sure these businesses stick around.
But just to remember to support your local businesses in this neighborhood for the next 18 months.
In Nulu, Jose Alonso, WHAS11 on your side.
Construction will start between the 900 and 1000 block of Market Street. The city says it will give businesses 2 weeks notice before digging up the concrete at their front entrance.